Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini-episode, today I have a couple of stories that are truly on the frightening and very bizarre side, folks. We have a Mothman account, and we have an account with a hyena-like cryptid. Let's get into the first account. West Virginia hiker photographs winged humanoid in Appalachian Mountains. Here exactly how this Mothman or winged cryptid was photographed. Let's get into the article now. A West Virginia man says a solo camping trip into the Appalachian Mountains turned into a close encounter with a winged humanoid that he first saw in the trees above his campsite, then photographed along the trail the next morning. The report matters because it includes two witness-supplied images, a close-range observation, and details that echo older West Virginia winged humanoid descriptions, especially the dark body, red eyes, and abrupt, silent movement. Let's read the actual story now. I grew up in West Virginia. I've always loved hiking and camping in the Appalachian Mountains. Back in August 2017, I planned a solo trip for 2 nights at one of my favorite spots. I had been there before and knew the area well, so nothing about the trip seemed unusual when I headed out. That first night, I was asleep in my tent when I was suddenly woken up by a loud noise in the woods. It sounded like something running through the forest on 2 legs. I am always armed when I go hiking or camping, so I stayed alert and listened, but after a while, things quieted down. A few hours later, around daybreak, I heard a commotion in the trees near my campsite. I grabbed my flashlight and shone it upward. The moment the beam hit the branches, I saw a large black-winged creature crouched on a thick tree limb. What stood out immediately were its huge red eyes. After it stood upright, I could tell it was around 5 feet tall. It looked covered in black fur or feathers. Its legs were skinny, and its wings looked almost as large as the rest of its body. I knew it was not a bird, at least not any bird I had ever seen. It scared the hell out of me. The thing made no sound at all. I slowly backed into my tent and zipped it shut. I sat there for several minutes trying to process what I had just seen. Then I heard it take off. After a bit, I opened the tent, shone the flashlight back up at the same branch, and it was gone. Even then, I did not panic. I decided to stay at the campsite. The next morning, I packed up and started hiking out. Not long after leaving camp, I saw the same creature again, standing about 50 yards away near the trail. I immediately pulled out my cell phone and took 2 photographs. It looked like it was feeding on a small animal, maybe a squirrel. I got one photo of it standing on the ground and another as it took flight at about 20 feet off the ground. That was enough for me. I cut the trip short, packed everything up, and headed back to my car. I still have no explanation for what I saw. I just want answers, W. Now, let's take a look at the photos that this guy basically sent of this entity or entities he took of folks. Now, here is the first photo, folks, and it looks somewhat real, but I've seen both photos before online and have, well, a feeling that they could both be CGI, but it can't be for sure. In this photo, it looks like it's really standing in the forest. In the second photo, well, this could be some entity taking off through the trees, folks. It almost looks humanoid, but also it could be a bird, but it can't be for sure. It can also basically be a puppet hung from a tree, folks. Either way, it's certainly, I think, a real object at least. I think that much is true. Unlike the other photo that looks like it could be CGI. As I said, it looks like it's really standing there, but I can't be 100% sure. Either way, both the story and the photos are very, very intriguing, folks. But now, let's move on to the next article. Huge hyena-like canine terrifies Florida witness near Myakka River State Park. And here, yet another person seen this hyena cryptid that people around the United States have seen in rural areas. Let's get into it now by reading this little opening. A Manatee County, Florida witness described a late-night encounter near Myakka River State Park that shook him so badly he questioned his own assumptions about the natural world. What makes the account stand out is not only the size and shape of the animal, but the extreme fear shown by 2 pit bulls that normally defend the property without hesitation. Indeed, folks, this is something that's been stated before in other cryptid encounters, that dogs will sometimes cringe in fear even if they basically are known to basically be unable to back down from anything else. Either way, let's get into the actual account. Let me say first and foremost, I am a man of logic and explanation. I never believed in ghosts or strange creatures, at least not seriously, but something happened the other night that left me with a feeling I still cannot shake. I live in Manatee County, Florida, in an area that sits somewhere between town and open country, not far from Yucca River State Park. We get plenty of normal wildlife out here. Foxes, coyotes, raccoons, all of that is common enough because there is a lot of wildlife around, and because many people keep chickens, most of us also keep large dogs. I have 2 pit bulls, a 70-pound male and a 60-pound female. They are fearless dogs. They know this is their property, and if they hear something outside, they let me know immediately. Usually, if I open the door, they charge out to run off whatever is out there. The other night, I woke up for no reason at all. The first thing I noticed was how unnaturally quiet it was outside. There were no crickets, no night sounds, nothing. Then I realized my dogs were not on the bed, where they normally sleep. A moment later, I heard a howl, unlike anything I have ever heard in my life. It went off like a siren and sent a chill straight through me. It was deep, almost like a yell, but it was definitely animal in origin. I turned on the lights and found both of my pit bulls huddled in the back of their crate, trembling. I have never seen them like that before. They were not alert or aggressive. They were terrified. That scared me more than the howl did. I turned the lights back off, grabbed a flashlight, and looked out the back window. About 200 yards away, near the tree line behind my property, I saw something standing there. I could not make out every detail because it was so dark, but what I saw looked like some kind of dog-shaped thing with an unusual build. The closest comparison I can make is a hyena. It had a heavy front end, a large neck with a thick fur or a mane, and thinner hind legs. Its head looked wolf-like, with upright ears and a large skull. What struck me most was its size. It was huge. Its body looked so black that it almost swallowed the light, making it hard to pick out clear features, but I could still see enough to know it was nothing like any coyote, stray dog, or normal animal I had ever seen. The whole scene felt wrong. Its presence seemed to press down on everything around it. The silence, the fear in my dogs, the way the woods seemed dead around it. All of it felt connected. The next morning, I went out to the spot where I had seen it. I looked for tracks, hair, anything at all, but I found nothing. Still, I know what I saw. I have never seen anything like it before. I have to ask if anyone else in Florida has seen something like this. There have been a lot of dead dogs in the area lately, including large dogs killed by something. Other people say it is coyotes or maybe feral dogs, but after what I saw, I am not convinced. The fear in my dogs told me this was no ordinary animal, and that is what still bothers me the most. From MD, folks. What did MD's dogs see or feel, folks, that terrified them so much? Was it the smell? Could they feel it? Or, as MD said, folks, it felt like this entity pressed down physically on everything around it. The land, this man's mind, perhaps even the dogs themselves could feel something pressing down into them, some sort of fear. A fear so powerful it left them stricken, unable to even move or even whine or bark at whatever was basically creating this terror in them, folks. And the man, MD here, he has no idea what he had seen. Now, the area where this activity that took place, folks, has a history of skunk ape activity. Now, apparently in this area, folks, dogs have been going missing for years. Some people blame it on Bigfoot or skunk apes, as they're known in this particular region of Florida, folks. So maybe these deaths aren't related to Bigfoot or skunk apes at all, but actually to these hyena-like cryptids that remain basically unknown to science. And what about the first story, folks, with this Mothman? It seems like the woods and forests and desolate places of the world, folks, are populated by entities and creatures we have no idea at all existed. Now, what are we to make of it? Why are these creatures out there? Why have they remained ignorant to science? And why do ordinary people like this actually encounter them? What if they're demons, folks, or shapeshifters? That could explain basically the weird abilities and fear that both witnesses had. I mean, MD said he felt fear or a presence basically emanating from this entity, so maybe that explains it. But it could also be that they're unknown entities like aliens or interdimensional interlopers as well. Either way, Both stories are indeed well worth looking at, folks. Anyway, we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics that are bad for you. You can use the YouTube links down below in descriptions of their chat to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure you hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.